Tomorrow, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and China's President Xi Jinping will be meeting in the southern Indian coastal town of Mahabalipuram. Ever since news of the meeting being finalized came in, Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has been a worried man. Just 2 days before Xi Jinping heads to India, Imran Khan made a quick visit to China. Khan's visit to Beijing is his third to the Chinese capital in a year. So what was discussed when Imran Khan and Xi Jinping sat down? WION World is One gets you the inside track. Imran Khan thanked Xi Jinping for his support on the issue of Jammu and Kashmir. There was reiteration of mutual support on core national issues. Imran Khan said that his country would continue to support China on all its core national issues, and China said that it would do the same. In fact, as per Chinese news agency Xinhua, Xi Jinping has said that he was watching the situation in Jammu and Kashmir and would support Pakistan in issues related to its core interests. The agency says that Xi Jinping told Imran Khan that the right and wrong of the situation was clear. Xi Jinping added that the parties should resolve the dispute through a peaceful dialogue. And in the Pakistan-China joint press release, Beijing did what it does best, a classic balancing act, saying that Jammu and Kashmir needs to be resolved based on the United Nations Charter, UN Security Council resolutions and bilateral agreements. This is in conformity with the position it had taken earlier at the United Nations General Assembly session in New York. Sources also tell WION World is One that during the meeting with the Pakistani leadership, China expressed its reservations over the slowing down of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor projects. Remember, reports have been saying that Chinese foreign direct investment into Pakistan has declined by 77% in the last fiscal year. Pakistan, meanwhile, maintained that it remains committed to the projects and that they would be completed on time, and Pakistan is apparently looking forward to expanding those projects. The global terror financing watchdog Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, has said that it's not satisfied with the measures that have been taken by Pakistan to clamp down on terror financing. But China, by its own assessment, believes that there is nothing to worry about. The visiting Pakistani delegation praised President Xi Jinping of the quote-unquote progress that has been made by Pakistan on that front. And as per sources, Xi Jinping said that China is satisfied with the steps taken by Pakistan towards combating terrorism. We're talking about a country that's known as a breeding ground of terrorism. Remember, the Asia-Pacific group of the global terror financing watchdog has slammed the Imran Khan government for its inaction on terror. It released its mutual evaluation report on Pakistan, which was adopted during its annual meeting in Canberra in Australia in the month of August this year. The report says that Islamabad has not taken sufficient measures in consonance with UNSC requirements. The group has categorically named terror outfits such as the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the Jamaat-ud-Dawa and the Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation, which are still functioning in the country. The report says that Pakistan has not delivered on its promises to act against Jamaat-ud-Dawa's chief and globally designated terrorist Hafiz Saeed. The group has further demanded that Pakistan should identify, assess and understand its money laundering and terror financing risks, including those associated with terror groups operating on its soil. And one of the key focus areas during the Xi Jinping Modi Informal Summit will be counter-terror cooperation. The meeting between Xi Jinping and Narendra Modi is set to take place in Mahabalipuram is being seen as Wuhan Part 2 and aimed at taking forward the Wuhan spirit. And the meetings come at a time when the Chinese leadership has leaned in favor of Pakistan on the issue of Jammu and Kashmir. This tilt and the fact that Xi Jinping will be in India for only 24 hours leads many to think that any major breakthrough is not likely. While the underlying tone of the Wuhan summit was cooperation, there is ambiguity over the tone of this year's meeting. And now we have our correspondent Siddhant Sibal joining us live here on WION Dispatch for more on that big story that we're tracking. Siddhant, talk to us. We've been tracking the story very closely here on WION, and with less than 24 hours to go, things don't look extremely upbeat ahead of this informal summit.
Well, yes, Krishna, the city is decked up for the big summit, and both sides have tried to make the right noises before the big second informal summit, which will happen in Mahabalipuram. But the key focus will be on convergences, how these two big countries in Asia can converge on various issues and make sure that their disputes do not become differences. Remember, both sides want that this system of informal meetings should become annual and routinized between both leaders, and both leaders can sit down on practical terms to do business. Do not expect a lot of outcomes, but do expect a lot of good optics, lot of visuals. I'm standing in Mahabalipuram, just nearby the 5 rathas or Panch Ratha, which is the place where both the leaders are going to walk, and that can be like reminiscent of the visuals from the WION Informal Summit last year.
Siddhant, I also want to ask you, talk to us. You are in Mahabalipuram. In terms of, why was, Mahabalipuram chosen as the spot for this all-important second informal summit?
Well, Krishna, there are 3 reasons behind it. First reason, the fact that the Indian Prime Minister has always been saying that we want to show rest of India, and any big ticket summit should take place outside the national capital region. The second, the Chinese President is an enthusiast of culture, of history, and that is what the Indian Prime Minister got to know about him after his number of meetings, starting with the WION Summit. Remember, he has met the Chinese leader, the Indian Prime Minister has met the Chinese leader almost 6 times now. And finally, the big reason, the reason that clinched Mahabalipuram as the center for the second informal summit is the history, the connect of this town with this coastal region with China. Remember, during the Pallava dynasty in the 6th century, there used to be a trading post which used to connect with that part of China, with Fujian. And remember, Fujian is the place where the Chinese president was governor a long time back. Right. So clearly there are several reasons, but clearly history played an important role.
And quickly, Siddhant, the one important question before we let you go, is Kashmir issue likely to be a point of discussion?
Well, one simple answer to this: no. India will not raise this issue, because India has clearly told, it's not Beijing, but clearly told the world community that Kashmir is an internal matter to New Delhi, just like Tibet is an internal matter to China. And China will never raise Tibet on public forum or any bilateral meeting. So India will not raise Kashmir at any bilateral meeting, be it the Chinese, the informal summit with the Chinese leader. But if the Chinese president would like to understand why India removed a special status, the Indian Prime Minister will reiterate what the Indian government has been telling, that it is to spur economic growth in that part of India.
Siddhant Sibbal, our principal diplomatic correspondent, joining us with that live update straight from the southern Indian coastal town of Mahabalipuram. Thank you, Siddhant.